Hello, my political people out there. I just wanted to say hello. How are you? Update you on what's going on out there in Tucker, Tucker Carlson world, Trump world, and I don't know what's going on with Rudy Giuliani, but Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's lawyer, that used to be his lawyer for years until he went to jail, and Donald Trump turned his back on him, called him all kinds of names. And he pretty much went to jail because of Donald Trump. It was over the Stormy Daniels debacle, the NDA that she wasn't really supposed to talk about it, but she did. And so now Michael Cohen will be testifying tomorrow in court regarding the whole Stormy Daniels hush money, okay? Because remember, Donald Trump paid Stormy Daniels $100 and something thousand through Michael Cohen to hush that they never had a relationship and not to talk about it. But the thing about that is that we found out Melania was pissed off. You know, remember, she wouldn't even hold his hand during when he was in office and stuff. She was pissed off. She's forgiven him and moved on. I would have too. I'm just gonna be honest, because he's been doing it. He's been cheating on women and doing that all his life. Does that stop him from being able to make good decisions as a president? No. He's just not a good president anyway to be making good decisions. And I say that for various reasons, okay? We've had him for 4 years, so we'll know what we're looking forward to if he becomes president again. Do we want division? Do we want strife? Do we want drama? Do we want him going after different races? He did. He did. He talked, no matter, he called the COVID virus, Kung Fu virus, okay? And he told those that was kneeling down that were African Americans to go back to their own country and call them sons of bitches. So that's just who Trump is. That ain't, you can't hate him for that. You just gotta overlook him. He wasn't them people you'd be like, oh, he don't mean no harm. But when you're the president, as long as Trump is a civilian and I'm not running for something powerful or over people, I just think certain presidents should have a certain decorum or a certain personality about themselves that don't scare the rest of us. Okay? He was scary, okay? It was a scary situation. You never knew when you were going to go to war domestically or, inside the country or outside. I thought me and my husband was going to have to get a gun. Literally. Like, go to the gun ranges and practice to figure out how to weaponize myself. Because you saw an uprising of Trump supporters, and most of them were white supremacy that didn't like certain colors. You can see it. It's all over the news. You pull it up. Who was Trump's followers? So we didn't get the gun, but we're still going to go and try to figure out how to work one and, to protect ourselves, because Google might not be ready. Moving on, Tucker Carlson, he said that he hated the president. He hated it. That was in a text message, okay? But every time he came on TV, he would give us mixed messages and information, trying to deflect from January 6th and tell us that, about the election being stolen and stuff. Like, look him up. He's not a very great person. When he was dishing out information while Trump was in office and during January 6th, he was spewing out information that was incorrect. And when you put bad information into the homes of others, they start believing it. But here's where I believe you can get your facts checked. You don't have to check on CNN and MSNBC. No, check on your regular channels, those that don't have an opinion, those channels. Because if you think that CNN is too far to the left, and if you think Fox is too far to the right, then get a station that you trust in between and get your own facts. But what Fox News has told me is that I was correct in my assessment that they are dangerous to society when they are pumping misinformation into our homes, knowing that they're watching the same thing we're watching. You can't say that January 6th never happened, or it wasn't that bad, or, they're not showing everything and try to deflect. You can't. You can't. And I don't care what side you're on, Democrat or Republicans. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Period. You're either going to be right or you're going to be wrong. And fortunately, right now, since I am a Democrat, my party is superseding the bad. Joe is always trying to help those that don't have medical, even without the Obamacare, that can afford it, insulin and all of this stuff, student loan debt, and trying to help the little people. Okay? That's so important. But the Republicans, you always want to hear, they always trying to cut funding and removing things that will help those that are less fortunate. That's been happening from the end of time. But regardless of that, what's going on in the Republican Party is they're fighting amongst themselves. They got Taylor Greene over there that is just extremely crazy, that will say anything, very disrespectful and rude, and don't make sense half the time. And then you got McCarthy trying to be a leader, and none of his party people vote for him. They can't agree with each other. Just now on the TV, they were saying, okay, on finding new leadership in the Republican Party. Their own party knows that they need new leadership. They need new leadership because the leadership that they have is not good. And even Mitch McConnell said something. He was not happy with Fox News. He said, shame on you, and I'm paraphrasing. Shame on you, Fox News, for sending out misinformation to the public during January 6th. Because that's who we look to for our information. And if the information is incorrect, then what? Point in case, Donald Trump said something about using bleach during COVID. Mixing bleach with something and helping. He wouldn't literally say that. But people thought, and people were drinking bleach, and there's a few people that didn't make it. Look it up. This is what I'm saying about misinformation. Telling someone something and then believing it and then going with it and thinking it's true. Because our country wasn't divided until Trump walked in the front door. Because during that time, I said, oh, who is he talking to? He definitely isn't talking to us. Doesn't sound like it. He had his own... Now, he could have been talking to me if I had been receiving what he said. But since I wasn't receiving it, he wasn't. And I have never known that type of president. I'm used to having it be, okay, if you lose, you lose. You don't try to take it. And then you got Rudy Giuliani up on the stage saying, You don't want to be here 3 weeks later and the election was really stolen. So you didn't know at the time that it was really stolen when you were pumping these people up to run down there to the building to go in there and hang Mike Pence. Mike Pence, by the way, also mentioned Tucker Carlson in Fox News. Actually, he mentioned Trump, which is even worse because Trump is his vice president. He appointed him. They're like glue. And so Mike Pence said something the other day and pretty much said that he was either disappointed or, he was disappointed in the way that Donald Trump handled January 6th. We're all disappointed in the way he handled it. He encouraged it. He told people to march down there. So here's the deal. Trump is in a lot of legal trouble. And let me tell you something. Everybody that's coming out to try to indict him, they're coming fast. Because they know that their window is short. And the name of this game is indict him quickly to move his chances away from being on that ballot. But what's the life of me is that he can already be on there now. Like, that is just insane to me because he's already being impeached twice. Isn't there something in the law that says if you've been up for impeachment twice, regardless if it went through or not, that you can't be president anymore? Come on. We need to update some of these laws. Let me add something to that. I think one of the main reasons why Donald Trump is going out to be president is so that he can avoid the legal trouble. I don't know if they can actually put Donald Trump in jail. I don't think they can put a sitting president in jail. I just wouldn't want to see that. But however, Donald Trump needs to be accountable for his crimes. He's always talking about law and order. Does that only refer to other people and not him? So everybody's trying to figure out, so if and when they indict him, because it's coming down the pipe, it's just a matter of when, that will he be able to still be a part of being on the ballot and moving on with his campaign? What I see is going to happen, and this is just my prediction. Okay, so I believe I left off here. So Donald Trump should not be allowed to be on the ballot because he's already considered a criminal in my eyes. He's already broken the law. And so my confusion is why would he even be privileged or have the opportunity to run again with all this legal battle? I mean, it's coming from every which way. I'm sure his mail is like, oh my God, what is all of this? Who's suing me now? But I'm just being a citizen. I forgot what I was saying. Just being a citizen. Do you want to go through that again? Do you want to sit through 4 more years of Trump, the division, the strife, the total chaosity of it all? We were in the streets rioting. We were in this, not rioting, picketing, protesting, and doing different things. A lot more than anything. You name it. There was the abortion thing. Then he packed the courts with conservatives. That's it. His plan to make sure that the Supreme Court was packed, he was working on that. Because remember when Obama had elected someone, they threw her smooth she was Hispanic. They told her, Mitch McConnell, stop that. The point to that whole situation was that it was the end of his term and he should let the next president pick. Then at the end of Donald Trump's term, he was allowed to pick someone, Mitch. So why didn't you stop it then? See the hypocrisy? Now, I'm not saying that the Democrats are wild, wonderful flowers. Okay? Each party has its own issues. Each party has its own ugliness in it. And me, myself, are not going to be biased and not talk about the other side too. But unfortunately, the Republicans, like Megan, have so much going on with themselves that if there was something going on with the Democrats, it's hard to pinpoint and find it because the Republicans is winning this race. They're winning with their shenanigans. They don't want to pass any laws. They don't want to help. They want to cut that. And I don't know all the details surrounding different books being in schools. But this piece of information I do know, which disturbs me, is that if my understanding is correctly, they're trying to remove some of our history books that talk about slavery, that talk about the things that happened to Black people and so on and whoever else. They're trying to remove those books out of kids' schools. That's not fair. History is history. You can't take history out because it's nasty or it doesn't suit good or you don't want your kids to find out the truth. No, you can't do that. You have to keep those books, keep things in there so we can remember our history so it won't be repeated, Trump.